One. Hey everyone, we're in another AI conversation, and today I'm happy to be joined by. Actually, we were both in the recent Gen AI Philippines meetup. Raven Duran, CTO of Symph. So welcome to the show, Raven. Nice to have you.
Thank you, Doc. Also nice to be here. Excited to, chika-chika some stuff for
Yeah,
all
yeah.
this AI
Let,
happenings.
let's just talk about our common passion. Anyway, sige, so let's just dive into it, no? And I'm sure we'll find interesting things to talk about. Let's pick it up where we left off nung Gen AI.
Mm.
I believe you were very very gracious in taking us through a lot of the development and the evolution of how you guys used AI. Siguro may kasi kulang yung mga tanong eh. Actually, I only ask one question. So
True, true,
maybe to
true.
jump into that, from I guess from a practitioner's background, no, medyo varied na
Mm.
rin yung background mo. Were you always looking at artificial intelligence when you started, or how did you get into this tech tech
Okay,
tech space?
I think that's the beauty of it. Kasi that's the beauty of the experience that I had is kasi we're focused on getting the solutions and problems solved by those solutions. So parang yung AI is kind of like naging part of the solution making. And over
Right.
the years, it's just so happened na as all these AIs become more and more accessible, more and more easy to develop, more and more easy to deploy as well, parang naging natural progression na lang siya of things is that AI will make sense. Because I will say not all the time AI will make sense. So parang ganon, like the experience that I have coming from a tech consultancy perspective is like what's the best thing that we can use for this scenario. And maraming scenarios talaga din na
Mhm.
requires, like deep AI understandings. There are also scenarios na di naman actually kailangan ng AI. Like just need a simple form eh. That just need a simple flow. Like we may be calling it AI, but technically that's just, conditionals na very basic conditionals. So I would say I'm coming from a perspective of putting AI towards a use case that it fits kumbaga at that scenario. So if it's something na parang just to fit it in para mag-sound cool or para you know what I mean, right? Like so there's a lot of those cases. So I wouldn't mind like trading off like the usual applications, usual like very deterministic kind of applications than using AI just for the sake of putting an AI in the label. So yeah, coming from that perspective.
Yeah, actually, in daming we can branch out in many directions, no. But you brought up one important thing na there is currently a hype cycle going on. And
Mm,
yung AI talaga, it attracts attention. In fact,
correct.
um, I'm sure very recently you saw that Amazon news article, no? Na it's actually humans watching
The
people on
1,000
CCTV.
people.
Oh, and then last year may ganun din eh. Parang si Del Taco was saying they had an AI drive-through. Turns out it's a
Mm.
Philippines call center. So that seems to be a very weird irony, diba? Kasi AI was always parang touted as something that can replace humans. Tapos si Devin. Devin, I think, is another.
Devin, this is the most recent one that they were trying
Oo.
to.
Tapos it turns out, well, Devin does some things, but not exactly what they were claiming na,
At least for now.
oo,
True,
it
true, true.
hasn't evolved. So wait, sige. So from that perspective, um, I like that you're coming from a very practical, you're a tool builder, you're a
Mm.
developer, product builder. Um, is there such a thing as parang pilit yung AI? Have you encountered something like that? Or
Mm.
have you had decisions where you purposely decided, "Oh, I don't think we need AI for this, no?" And then the marketing will be a
Mm.
totally different matter altogether.
Actually, that's a good question. Um, Kasi there are times, especially, I mean, I'm not really at all the ad agencies or marketing na mga agencies, no, but for marketing agencies, especially when they tie up with a brands, very good for proposals nila yung AI eh. So, a lot of times, even if it's really simple ones, they wanna try to put in some form of like quote unquote AI to the mix to get the deal. right? And once the deal happens, once the development actually happens, yung makikita nila or on the behind the scenes of that one is actually like a very deterministic route of doing things. It's not really like AI per se. Like, it's kind of like, for example, just filter, adding additional parts to the process, even like deterministic kind of generation. Parang ganun. But on their end, siguro I wouldn't want na lang siguro also. I wouldn't also say na they really didn't parang want the AI. I think they really want the end result. It's just that they don't know the whole process around it. So parang the magic term to encompass everything is like AI. So parang ganun. So yes, I've been through that situations. As much as I try to educate, like, I actually, this can just be this one. We don't need the term AI for this one. This is just a simple flow. Merong workflow natin na gagawin here and that. But the thing is, in all honesty, AI still clicks,
Mm.
especially for marketing, for getting that deal done. So in our way naman, okay, sige, as long as they know what they're doing, they know what we are doing as well. I think it's all good naman on our end. So I have those kinds of scenario, but it's just important for me to really communicate to them like what's happening behind the scenes para walang magic of sort, di ba?
Yeah,
So yun.
that's so true. Back when you were giving your talk, no, and actually it was very helpful to see, kasi syempre, it's still a relatively new space, yung Gen AI, at least
Mm,
mainstream. Um, did you see a change from kasi you're coming from an engineering standpoint
correct.
between the way AI used to be integrated into a workflow, yung large language models,
Mm,
generative AI, and then now, kasi obviously the chat GPT stuff, the lay people, ibang-iba yung experience as opposed to pre-chat GPT. You don't even need to code pa nga, di ba? But from a coder standpoint, did you notice a difference in how these workflows could be integrated now that we have these APIs and Gen AI?
definitely. So I would say, number one, it adds a shift to the way developers, at least on our end, think about doing solutions, especially if it's for a POC, if it's for like a product for that's trying to find a parang product market fit. So they try to find ways like, is there something in AI right now that can help me like create this product without really spending too much effort to it at the moment. So kind of like winging it and then using the AI tool. So that's one. Like, it's a shift on mentality na we don't really have to code these things. And I tell you, that's a lot of parang kakainin na isang developer, right? Because when you say engineer, when you say developer, kind of like, I really want to build this from scratch. I want to build all this from all this mga libraries, or even nga I want to DIY myself in. But then they immediately notice a pattern, especially now that AI is becoming really accessible. They notice a pattern na if they're gonna build something, spend a lot of time building it, and then it's gonna end up not working because they spend too much time building on it, then the effort would have been wasted, right? So they saw an opportunity using AI na, oh, if this is something that we can automate, at least yung parts na to we can automate by the use of AI, by the use of specifically Gen AI, then we should use it. So that's one. Number two, I would say is, ito, medyo hot take to sa amin eh. So you're familiar with the tools like GitHub Copilot, right? We have GitHub Copilot, we have Cursor AI. So in GitHub Copilot, initially, we were really very parang super positive on what it brings to the team. And in fact, still
Mm.
now is. Now, I noticed also another pattern when, so 'di ba, it's kind of like an autocomplete. So but it's like a parang more advanced autocomplete per se if it's deployed on VS, let's say on VS Code. Now, if the developer writes a function dati, yung ginagawa niya is that write the name of the function, pause, think of something o na ano yung dapat gagawin talaga ng function na yon, like the implementation. So there's a critical thinking happening, and that activity, I believe, promotes a lot of, like, brain cells growing up, and kumbaga nag-upskill in a sense, bit by bit. So, and then after that, they build the application, etc. If they cannot build it or there's a code na medyo na-hit sila, they go to Stack Overflow. Um, Now, it's a bit of different na. Kasi what's happening is that they write the function name and Copilot is so intrusive na, at least for us, na di mo pa lang, like, you're just typing pa lang, the full code of what it should do is already there. I mean, it's great, pero I really decided na okay, I think I still wanna keep the human touch of thinking at least for this particular parts. So we made a trade-off. So the trade-off that we decided is that we should disable yung auto completion na like auto suggestion of Copilot. Instead, we should favor for manual trigger. Like if you really need something to be auto completed, just manually trigger it by a button press. And we did that so that now hindi siya magiging yung Copilot kasi na flow is magiging ganito siya eh. The write the function, nandun na lahat. So there's parang they are becoming more of a reviewer rather than just putting also parang critical thinking in the process. So we still want to develop that. So parang yun yung mga additional pattern na nakita namin na parang the good side of things and also the things that we need to be wary of that it might have a parang significant effect in the future but might steer us. So yun yung mga takes namin recently, especially on engineering. So there's a lot of that's happening. So we have like test cases, automatic development of automatic creation of test cases, mga automatic stuff. But then I always tell my devs like, does this really have a proper use case na ginagamit natin, or is this something na you only make because it sounds and looks cool, right? So maybe we can start with the look cool, pero when we do it every day, it should be something na meron talagang use case. So I think the third one would be pushing for use case. So a lot of us, parang yung initially, especially last year, no? So especially last year, there's a lot na mga ginawa ng mga devs namin, and I tell you, siguro mga 90% or 95% of all of this thing was just put to parang the graveyard because there was no use case. Like, maganda lang silang gawin for the sake of either exploration or parang it's fun and cool. So yeah, so now we more as an organization, we're more now focused on actual use cases and usage na sa AI. And also kasi din, part of that is the cost. So you know what I mean, right? So if we keep on building some trash stuff and no usage, it's just gonna eat up a lot of our anong tawag dyan, of our budget for OpenAI and all this stuff. So yeah, that's are the parang changes that has happened sa amin organizationally due to the use of AI and the patterns that we see from using AI, Gen AI.
Yeah, I mean, this is a rare opportunity for me to ask mga questions. For
Mm.
example, because most people who are, let's say, solo developers, or who don't need to comply with parang design patterns,
Mm.
um, they tend to enjoy Copilot. Kasi nga, parang
Mm.
Copilot becomes the design pattern from very, very basic, yung sinabi mo, functional calls to code structure, doing,
Mm.
switches, loops, mga ganyan. These are always convenient. Pero nga in a dev team, there's I don't, and I'm just thinking out loud kasi I no longer run a dev shop na. I used to do that. There's
Interesting.
parang a balancing act between maintaining the code base of the team para
Mm.
everyone doesn't end up reinventing, a function that's already been created and curated in the code base versus yung sinasabi mo, yung exploration, innovation. So, and this is not necessarily specifically Copilot or an AI
Mm.
issue. How do you handle that? I'm just curious to get into the mind of a dev
Mm.
leader. Kasi nga, especially the more devs you onboard, the bigger the team, the more in a way you want to enforce that integrity eh. Kasi mamaya, and I've been in that experience before. 'Di ba? Yung dinevelop ni Doc, iba na sa dinevelop ni ganyan, iba na sa dinevelop ni ganyan. And by the time it comes back to me, wow, everyone created their own structure. And then at some point you need to reinforce it. And I found na that's perfect for Gen AI para malinis lahat, no? But it's always easier said than done, no? So in your case, or at least in your view, how do you go about that kind of thinking, enforcing standards, etc.?
Yeah, so we do have an engineering standards na document. So this kind of document lays out like what we prefer in terms of doing this and that, like the variable naming conventions, basically mga basic lang na convention. So the most practical one na we can use to enforce kasi marami naman yung devs is of course by the pull request reviews, right? So sa PR reviews, we make sure that um, we did before parang AI code reviewer, but then we realized na okay, maybe we just put it as a parang linting, but not for the actual review of the stuff, especially if it's critical. So there has to be someone that's gonna approve. AI can be there, but there has to be someone like a human in the loop that really gonna review this code and approves it by that one. So in that sense, parang right now we're not yet on a parang fully automated PR review approved na process. So I still am not on that level, or parang I don't see the level of Gen A right now to be at that level yet, at least on our end. So we don't do that. So that's why we really are keen on the pull request reviews. Now, maximizing Gen AI tools for this one, although, is also good. Like we're using an editor right now. It's a fork from VS Code. It's called Cursor, Cursor AI. So the beauty about that, and actually VS Code is also, and Copilot is already catching up to it. The beauty is that you can chat your whole code base, and it uses the whole code base as parang its memory store ba. So kind of like it smartly, so when you do a prompt, you create a code or a method or something, the whole code base become a context. So initially parang, oh, challenging to when you're doing kind of like a retrieval of memory for something like that, you have to be very smart. And then I saw naman their technique on doing this, and I would say, okay, this is at least the best that we can have right now. So in a way, the whole the whole code base namin becomes some sort of a memory and parang documentation for the AI itself. So now when it builds the application, or sorry, the methods, the functions, it tries to match a similar pattern from the code base. So that's actually been very helpful to us. Initially, hindi ka ako makapaniwala na will it really work? You know, so I tried the parang small subset of team lang, like there's two projects. Okay, ito gagamitin nyo ha. Mandate ko to. Just use this. Let me know if you're really finding a hard time. Worst case scenario is just VS Code. So just remove all the AI stuff there if it's blocking you in your progress. I was amazed. Like just a month later, like the rest of the devs followed through. They're using already that tool. The beauty also of that one is that you're not locked into their API keys. You can add your own API key for OpenAI, and then it's just gonna do it. So I think in that regards, very important din yung tooling. Like your tooling should also support the if you're so ito, this my take. If you're gonna use AI for coding, development, software engineering, augmentation, then definitely you should also put some guardrails, and you cannot do that easily manually. So PR manually, but another guardrail is to use the AI itself na parang bigyan mo siya ng guardrail. Oh, do not go out of bounds itong sa mga patterns na namin sa code base ha. So I can say that with confidence kasi medyo malaki na yung mga code bases namin from projects. So it's a different story if it's starting out. So pag starting out talaga, walang choice yung dev, sabi namin, you're always gonna follow the engineering standards, always gonna go through the PR reviews for everything. So challenging talaga pag new code base. But if it's an existing code base with many methods, services already, then it should be easier for AI to pick up yung patterns na namin. So yeah, that's how we do it at the moment.
Yeah, that's very fascinating, no? So parang lumalabas, it's a maturity issue. In
Mm.
many ways, kahit walang AI, parang ganun na rin naman, di ba? So if you have already
Correct.
a legacy code base that you'd like to maintain, then certainly your review process should stick to that. Parang everything's an increment on that
Mm.
code base. Pero dito, one thought bubble in my head, because as I said, I don't manage dev teams anymore. But I could imagine that having an LLM that ingested your original code base guide the new guys can be a
Mm-mm.
massive boost, no? Pero I'm wondering lang, does it really, kasi ako,
Mm-mm.
in theory, I know it can work, eh. Pero I would also be very impressed pag, so for example, is it a matter of asking the chatbot for a code review? Ganun ba yun? Kasimple lang. So
Mm-hmm.
here's the function I created to do this. And then na-ingest na yung buong code base as part of the context. Literally, the chatbot will say, change this, or here's a better way of writing it. Ganun ba yung ganun ba yung
Ano, it's different. So basically, the more parang so ginagawa niya is that first, for example, yung prompt mo is can you create like a method that parang payment service? Can you create a pay method on the payment service? So what it will do is that it has an index of all the list of the files. So
Mhm.
parang it tries to figure out, parang it has a mental note of what each file does. And then the next layer, so pinifilter niya, so the next layer would be yung most relevant na mga files. And then it filters to, para hindi siya ma-limit on the like the token limits of all these um, APIs, you know. So now, what happens is that it will generate the code for you in the context of dun sa mga nagawa mo na dati and including yung mga methods that can be reused. Kasi yung initial problem namin dati with Copilot that na sa in page lang siya. Ngayon meron na I think all code based din sa Copilot. I think it's just recently launched mga few months ago. But yung problem namin dati is that we'll have to really put in all the context as much as possible, like importing the methods, importing the libraries that's necessary, adding some additional context for it to generate at least close to what we should really use on enterprise level na coding. Now, the beauty with Cursors, because it's indexing the whole code base, it has a more parang seamless way of doing the generation. So it doesn't we don't need to add more context on the same file because it searches for other similar files that it can get the context. So either via parang siblings niya na files or in under the same service, etc. So that's what it does. On the code review though, that's another I would say challenge pa still at the moment. It's still not accurate, I would say. And there's still a lot of prompt engineering, context giving that we're doing it at the moment. And I will tell you, it's still not at the point na parang confident ako. It's lang, nandun lang siya. So yung ginagawa niya is, it actually comments out and then gives a suggestion also of a code. But I would say it's very hit or miss still at this moment. So might be siguro yung prompt engineering lang namin kasi we're giving it context roles that ito yung specialty namin, ito yung mga specific na mga things that we do. But it's still coping up to catching up to what we're trying to achieve moment. So siguro it became like parang I would say parang glorified linter at the
Mm,
moment. So
mm.
it's not really
Parang
I'm gonna manage your expectation
formatting, structural
yeah.
formatting.
So I'm just gonna manage your expectations that it's not really there yet, at least on how we are using it. So we're trying to get there though. Na it should become like more and more parang useful talaga. So
Over
for
time.
now, it's more
Mm.
about tweaking. So that's
So,
for the code review.
so this is really excellent, no? Kasi lumalabas. And this gives context to what Devin was claiming to do, eh. Kasi parang anytime you have parang code generation seems easier, tama ba? Kasi it already has
Mm-mm.
something to copy. And then the human will edit.
Correct.
Versus a human writes something and then chatbot will parang critique dun sablay or
Sablay
medyo
pa din eh.
50-50.
Oo,
Okay.
50-50.
Kasi this is essentially RAG but for code, 'di ba? Malabas na
Correct.
parang oo. So I was just thinking out loud, no. Kasi nga this is a rare time we get to interview a CTO and an engineering. Is there a best practice for you at least on
Mm.
how you should document existing legacy para mas maintindihan nung chatbot? Kasi ganun din naman pag you're doing RAG. That's always the art, eh. Parang if your text is obviously parang labelable, kumbaga may mga meta tags back in the day, no? Then it gets smarter. Pero if it's kind of like one area where I still see RAG struggle on the non-coding side is how it indexes structured data, no? Tables, no?
Mm.
Kung walang enough context dun sa title of a column or a row, Bobo yan, for sure.
So,
And even up to now, people don't know, people don't know how to solve that, no? Short of eyeballing what's getting ingested. Pero code
mm,
can be a bit more parang middle ground, semi-structured, pero may sense, no?
mm,
And that was one of the first use cases din ng original ChatGPT, right? The codex component of it. Pero did you guys have to do that? Parang clean, sabi mo, many files, di ba?
mm.
Labeling the files para alam ni retriever what to
Okay.
get, or is that something
So,
out of the box ginawa na niya?
so I would say the previous engineering culture, I mean, still now, the culture, engineering culture and standards namin help. I also told that during the talk na nag-help siya doing when we did the automations because it was easier for the AI for the Gen AI to ingest things and output things because better yung naming conventions namin. Meron na kaming ganyan dati. So I would say if you're a bad developer, it doesn't really get you to a great developer just by using AI. So so it's more like you're a bad developer, at least you're gonna get to the parang at
Competent,
least parang
parang
competent ng konti.
average.
Pero it's not gonna get you to the great. So the way to do that is you really have to have your own conventions na and things that you adhere to. So ganito yung nangyari. The beauty about Cursor is that it has Cursor ignore. So we can technically add all the legacy folders and files there na we don't want it to add dun sa index niya. So that's a good thing
Mm.
for our end kasi we don't want it to be training on things na okay, those are parang very early code days namin, so we don't want it to have those contexts. Okay,
Mm.
erase, add to the ignore files. That's good. But the another thing, ito siya is medyo mahirap if you're already having a code base na malaki pero you haven't done it in a correct way when you started is the naming conventions, the names of your if you're the names of your methods, the name of your services, your modules, if they all make sense.
Mhm.
Kasi
Mhm.
if it's something, let's say, nakalagay lang dun sa method, process payment, tapos yung ginagawa mo pala dun is madami kang ginagawa, you're sending notification, you're sending like that, the I would say will have a harder time trying to make a context out of it
Right.
because ang daming vagueness eh. So doon papasok yung clean code na book. So yun. So every time talaga when we generate the better the code structure that is already there na hindi pa kami nag-AI, the better the results that we get. So yun nga, yung sabi ko that during sa talk during Gen AI, we had this AI that automates parang end of day work summary and accomplishments out of our Git commits and PR pull request reviews. And the only reason we were able to do that without much really super big effort is that dati pa lang we already have um, standard na when we write commits, we write pull request reviews, mga PRs namin, it should already have a format and structure na concise dun sa ano yung ginagawa niya. So when we add the AI, technically we're just, pulling lang the text from Git and then just putting it on an LLM and then having the LLM restructure it na parang human friendly. So yun lang talaga yung nangyari. So I would say the culture in the company or your team helps a lot with augmenting with all these AI tools.
Yeah, actually, I caught on one part of what you said. The AI struggles with yung phenomena of parang mga mega methods that does too many things now
Uh,
in one function. So, do you see that it actually starts helping parang enforce those parang clean principles na
mm.
itong method na to, daming ginagawa. So and it's hard to index that kasi nga marami nga siyang ginagawa. So does it end up forcing your team to actually compartmentalize properly, when you write
I
uh
would I would
methods?
say there's already tools about that before. So there's this concept of cognitive complexity. So
Mm,
we're already using tools for that one. It's using Sonar. I don't know. I don't want to use the term AI for that one. That's like because so long ago na di pa Gen AI. Maybe it's form of AI or conditionals, just very deterministic. But what it does is we know that if this method or function is really like parang kumbaga vague siya on what it does or ganito na lang if the method is doing a lot of things, right? So kind of existing na siya, to be honest. So the AI is not necessarily pushing pushing us, kumbaga, but the previous tools that we already have.
Yeah. What about code documentation? Does it help? Kasi nga may ganyang
Mm.
facility. So does it also in a way drive behavior of labeling code properly para later maintindihan din ng AI how to replicate it, or that's more of after the fact ginagawa nyo na ever since?
Actually, I would say still after the fact. Kasi important din on big code bases that already have documentation. Eh. I would
Mm.
say though that um, adding more diagrams, adding more parang explaining more of the documentations namin, like expounding to it, nag-help yung Gen AI stuff. But prior pa lang, we need to already have like some form of ways to document it without getting so much hassle in terms of the developer's part. So we employed also mga tools na yan for yan that dati pa lang. So like mga Swagger, creating documentations as we code, ganon. So one of the principles that we have in terms of software engineering is that your code base, like when someone reads your code, it should act or should be readable enough na they will understand it as some form of super basic documentation. So I would say prior pa lang talaga.
Yeah. Kasi nga, I mean, if we zoom out again, no, that's really the dividing
Mm.
line between people who know how software is built, and then maririnig mo yung mga yan, yung mga hype about Devin. Talagang hindi eh. Doesn't really make sense eh. And even if you do relatively simple things like maybe web
Mm.
development, hindi pa rin eh. Kasi um it although there's a phenomenon of having templates,
Mm.
repeatable blocks. But that only gets you so far. If you have to really code up a particular feature or product in your project, there's really no substitute to really knowing how it's done. And I'm
Correct.
I'm
And
wondering though, that's always on the flip side, that's also a roadblock then to productivity, 'di ba? Pag kailangan
yeah,
bespoke lahat, no? So anyway, sige, these are not new concepts, but for you as a dev leader, how do you think about those things at all, or that's more of
mm.
ano na yan, day-to-day stuff that people are expected to deal with?
I would say that's the hardest roadblock still for all of, not just for AI but even for human interactions in terms of software engineering. Kasi there's a lot of context switching, um, and even yung mga nuances of just the communication, right? Like
Hmm.
communicating with the clients, communicating ano talaga yung gusto nila, communicating with your team, make sure things are clear. I think those are still kumbaga edge ng human when it comes to doing actual project from end to end. So I think that's the biggest hurdle for AI, at least at the moment, for those that are trying to build something from one prompt of sort, right? Because
Hmm.
I do not expect, di ba, kailan ba nangyari na binigyan ka lang ng, let's say you have a client and then the client, I want you to make me this kind of website. Parang one prompt lang yun and then okay, we'll get back to you in 1 week or 2 months. And then, pagbalik mo ng 2 months, eto na. And then the client, okay, this is good. Thank you. That has never happened. At least for my experience, that has never happened. So how much more the AI, ba? Especially if it's like an AI, when they build it something na parang doesn't require much more input after. So I would say yun yung parang biggest one of the biggest hurdle for those kinds of AI to actually work. I did try some of it, like we did try some form of agent. It is able to create mga basic stuff like a simple Python game, simple website na parang super bare bones lang. But like a website or an application or a mobile app that has really a lot of context to it, a lot of things that needs to be considered, that is something that still under development pa kahit non-AI still always yung mga devs nga even senior devs still not gonna hit 100% accuracy on their estimates and development even. So I would say malayo-layo pa tayo dyan, or maybe at least I would say na not in the near future. I still think we have a lot of edge as humans on doing those things pa at the moment.
Okay. Pero sige, I wanna take it to a different direction in a minute, no? But just one more thought on this. So certainly yung full automation or even partial automation in the I guess in the Hollywood sense of coding, malabo. But from a more practical, like as a developer, what are some things you would be comfortable
Mm.
using Gen AI for? Even little mundane things. And does it
Mm.
actually help productivity or creativity at all? Kasi yun yung two, ano, diba, supposed benefits of Gen AI.
Nice, nice. I like this question. So, um, number one would actually be generating diagrams. So I the
Actually,
reason
yeah.
that I'm telling that because a lot of devs coming from my experience handling like we're already 100 now at same. So a lot of them like wants to just focus on coding, but there are a lot of times that you have to present like your ideas, the flows, doing it. So kind of like a parang we don't really want to do the nitty gritty of doing the diagramming, but now the tools that we have right now, you just put in the flows that you have in mind in plain text or even parang structured lang ng konti, and then it generates a parang starter for you. So we use tools like, for example, Eraser.io. So they have a parang diagram GPT. So even in fact, I did create my own for Diagraminator. I think it kinds of like get in parang frees anong tawag diyan, frees up the time sa developers to do the things that parang they don't want to spend a lot more of time to like I know we need this, but I don't want to spend a lot of time. So if there's something that can kickstart, then all good. So that's one thing. So it helped a lot with the diagramming. And now we're able, because of that, we're able to just push our devs to, if they have an idea on something, if they want to communicate their flows, we can easily ask them for diagrams because we know it's not already that parang nitty-gritty to do now. So it's kind of like just put in your thoughts there, have the diagram generate it, review it, edit ng konti, and it's there. So that's one. Another is, of course, yung typical na code generation at the moment. So we're already being comfortable to it with the guardrails that it should still adhere to our standards. Like we have standards that we should follow, and there should be a human in the loop when reviewing this code. Diba? So we don't, so that's always the thing na we say to the na these AI tools, so do not consider it as parang okay siya yung nag-generate diyan. No, you have to be accountable and responsible. So we're building systems for multiple industries and even enterprises. So if they're just gonna parang point out na yung AI yung gumawa yan, no, it's not the case. You're the one who made it. You just used AI to develop it. So that's why we are comfortable in using AI, but we don't want them to be comfortable na to the point na parang they will point the accountability to the AI tool that we use. It's always gonna be the developer. And
Yeah.
then the third one is, of course, some form then of documentation. So I saw nga kanina, we already have documentations built up before AI. So that's what happened right now with AI. A lot of things are much simpler in terms of like generating the whole documentation structure, adding the diagrams yung kanina, etc. So I think we're comfortable building at least the parang a lot of mga boilerplates that they were doing documentations using AI. And I think also AI also helps with um, trying to upskill also the rest of the devs that are, for example, not on a senior level yet, or parang, for example, let's say junior,
Onboarding.
right?
Yeah.
Onboarding. Kasi when they use, so initially, yung nangyari dati is that they look into the code base, they read on it. That's good. But right now, what's happening is, aside from reading, when they kind of code something, if it adheres to the standards namin, parang automatic namin sila na onboard eh. Like the training that we could have spent parang a few months or a month or so to train that to be on par doon sa ginagawa namin. Now it's parang almost like a day na lang or a two because of all this AI tools. So I think we're comfortable with that aspect of AI helping us in the organization. Yeah, I think that's more for me for in the standpoint of engineering teams.
Yeah, that's awesome, no? And I suppose, do you guys handle code bases na you did not write? Because I know that that's also kind
That's
of
a
a good
very
life
good
hack, di ba? Parang explain
correct.
this code na hindi ko naintindihan. Gen AI might help there, no?
I'm really glad you pointed that out because we had a parang, I would say still recent kasi that's 6 months ago, na project. And it was so parang malayo dun sa stock na, let's just say super malayo sa stock na ginagawa namin. And then the previous supplier for that code is already not connected already with our clients. We cannot even get a proper support from them to like how these things work, right? And actually, I'm a bit amazed and also thankful na that was actually a really good case for us in using Gen AI of sorts. So kasi yung nangyari now is that when we dig into the legacy code base, we were able to be productive kasi yung AI na yung nagge-generate ng code. And then of course we can see the logic naman, we can see the Juan. So it really helped us push through that project na like even if it's legacy, we're still able to understand it. We can have it explain some code. We can have it explain why are things like this are set up. Ganon. Even if it's very different to our code bases. So right now our tech stack is mostly on the TypeScript and then we were working on a code base that is in PHP. So very very different on how we do things as well. And then the Gen AI stuff tools that we use, kahit as simple as the code editor yung sa Cursor, has already helped us a lot on that regard. So I would say helpful in terms of like handling legacy code bases. Kasi dati if people were just gonna spam Stack Overflow for it, they're just gonna spam Stack Overflow or their other peers na with that kind of experience. But now like it's so much more seamless.
Yeah, obviously it's lalo na if you never had a background in that, no.
Correct.
Okay. We're not yet at the hour, but we have about, let's say, 20 minutes. Bilis, no? I wanna move from operational stuff to like products, no? And I was very very impressed about how you guys are getting into many many types of products and services. So with this Gen AI trend, what are your expectations of the kinds of parang products that will eventually come in? Or maybe a better way of phrasing it, kasi ang dami rin mga aspiring AI developers. What are some, I mean, what are the definitive parang design patterns or product patterns that you think will be very popular? In short of saying, parang dati, LAMP was the definitive, ano, 'di ba? Web stack ngayon, it's, I don't know, MERN or whatever, ano bang uso ngayon. So that's for web dev. Pero what about AI, no? What are you seeing, no, from your standpoint? Where's all of the activity gonna cluster around?
Ano, actually, I'm assuming ba a lot of maybe watching your videos right now, they were assuming na my answers will go to like, oh, they will have this stack na mayroon na silang vector database. They will have this stack that they will have the parang kuha sila ng model somewhere. They're gonna deploy it na. But to be honest with you, I think at least for those starting out lang ha, like you just want to have some form of MVP, it's just gonna be an API.
Yes.
Like it's just gonna be an API. Either they're gonna use from Vertex AI, or they're gonna use from OpenAI. It's just gonna be an API, and then probably their backend is gonna look like coming from calling workflow in AirOps or in even in Zapier or N8N. So N8N is also like a parang flow. So and then you can open it up like a parang REST API that they call on their front end. I think it's gonna look something like that. Parang it's more like the back end becomes a lot of it more parang workflowy. If we're talking about AI stuff na parang generative AI per se ha. So I think it's gonna look like that for most AI engineers that will start it because they will in a matter of time. I think even if they start right now, they will see the benefit of doing those at the early stages of AI stuff development. So we also did a product last year, and I know that even last year is very controversial kasi a lot of people are also posting na prompt lang naman yan, you're not really using AI, you're just using API from that. And we're kind of fine with it because that's fine because we're just leveraging on the giants, right? We're just trying to figure out if this stuff is even gonna sell out, right? So we did a very simple use case one that was like lesson planner.ph. Very, very simple. Yung initial lang idea is to help teachers generate their lesson plans. So as you can see that you can already go to ChatGPT for that and make a POC out of it in an instant, right? So then it kind of evolved when we saw it. Oh my gosh, people are using it. Okay, sige. So we have like 100 users, 150 users, naging 1,000 users. Like, oh wow. So it kind of evolving, and then we kind of evolve it to a much mature talaga, that we added more things that are making it more accurate, adding more caching to save on cost. So that's one thing pala, caching on saving cost, and a lot of other stuff. So now, when people are looking at sa lesson planner, it's still gonna look like a parang generator lang of sort. Pero
Mm.
under the hood, there's a lot already of change that has happened, that it became more mature in terms of the under the hood. But it all just started by just using OpenAI. Talaga, it's just using OpenAI API. And then now it reached to a point where we have 200,000 users, and then around 1 million plus lesson plans generated already, and it's already a very sustainable business for us, and it all started a very simple concept. So I would say something like that can also be a parang mantra moving forward by other AI devs, na they will use as many parang existing tools as possible just to get their point across there. And if it works, then that's the time that we're gonna put all of this mga, all the other advanced stuff that they can build around it. But I would say the POC building now for generative AI in a space is really parang quite fast na talaga eh. There's a lot of tools already out there that's giving you all these mga quote unquote powers initially. So yeah. So now on that note na lang siguro, I would say na the challenge now will be, again, always talaga ako babalik dito. The challenge now will be the use case.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi a lot of them also are building things that
No
doesn't
one
really
wants to use.
require. Wala naman necessarily AI dito eh. So
Oo.
that's one. And another one is, this is cool pero no one is really using it.
Mm.
Right? So I think this will now be more of a challenge of not necessarily the building aspect, but the use case aspect. So I
Design,
think that would
like
be
what?
the
Product design.
correct.
That since you brought it up, um, has Gen AI made that parang product development, product design process easier or
Mhm.
harder? Kasi pros and cons eh. And then I have a follow-up question to that, pero on a
Correct, correct.
different front, no? Pero in your case, at least in your experience.
I would say it made it a bit easier, at least
Mm.
on the very beginning. I mean, that day we're all already doing those kinds of stuff, especially for those having a very lean mindset on doing things, right? We
Mm.
have already those tools, mga pre sikat na pre mainstream Gen AI pa lang na mga era. There's already a lot of those stuff. Right now lang, I would say that it has become more accessible and apparent to people kasi they can already parang easily use it pa.
Mm.
Dati they can easily use it, pero I think they don't know about it. Pero when OpenAI, ChatGPT, Rose, parang mind blown sila lahat na like, oh, that's actually existing already for a few years back. Maybe that's the beauty of ChatGPT, because by using that kind of interface, meron sila. So I would say on product development side, it has made a lot of some of the things easier to do and to prototype. So we have a project right now na supposedly we took on that similar project few years back. We use some form of AutoML from Firebase.
Mhm.
And it works. It was also faster back then, but now it's parang like faster as in one API call. So I would say it's still fast. The cost though is a different thing, but most of the time, if they're just doing their MVP and they're trying things out, they're okay with having parang to shoulder the cost at the beginning. So I
Mm.
would say it's still okay on our end.
That leads me to the follow-up which is um I only came by the dev side of things when I started my consultancy, no? Kasi nga
Mm.
when you meet clients, they really want an all-in solution, puro ganun.
Mm.
And usually they get to me or they get to us because
Mm.
whatever was off the shelf, hindi na gumagana. So talagang you have to build something. Whereas majority of what I would call the traditional AI people, they don't I'm generalizing, I could be completely
Mm.
wrong. Pero my thought is they don't necessarily come from a product from perspective. Lalo na yung mga analytics, no? I came from that space then. They are more into
Mm-hmm.
insighting, I don't know. It's more of a research job actually. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel that makes the Gen AI crowd very different kasi sa Gen AI by
Mm.
virtue of the product, by virtue of how it works. In a way you tend to think product already. Now, how can I utilize a
That's
Gen
a
AI?
very good observation. Yeah,
Oo, kasi yung
I
mga
agree.
old, again, no disrespect, but if you come from the more statistics or neural network background,
Mm.
of course you can create products from those, but that's rarely the focus. Do you agree with that, or is that something you observe in your, in your own, parang
I think I
space?
agree with you. So
Mm.
it kind of like yung nangyayari kasi doon, at least in my space din dati when I'm doing my masteral for kasi we're also doing AI.
Mm.
I think I would say parang the research comes first
Yeah.
and then the tech comes first and then you just have to think of a product that fits with the tech.
Mm.
You get what I mean, right? Right now it's like
Mm.
you have a parang end result and then you think of a prompt or what AI tool you can use to that end result. So parang naging different siya at least on the mindset that it's more on like research focused talaga. I would say it has its strengths etc. But on the product perspective, making perspective, it's kind of like fitting
Mm.
the research to the product rather than sorry, fitting the product to the research rather than using whatever research we have for a particular product ba na
Mm.
mindset. So that's a good observation.
Yeah, it's not, it's not obvious sa simula. Kaya,
Mm.
in a way, that's part of my own journey then, because when I started becoming active in promoting Gen AI on my own, in some ways it meant divorcing from traditional analytics or even data science for that matter.
I'm also
Not
curious, like like how's the divorce like how's the divorce looks like on your end when you're at
Oo.
that point now you want to switch more of that mindset.
Well, ako, obviously, because 'di ba naiimbita ako to talk. Sometimes I do these hot takes. And part of it is provocation to get people to think. Pero part of it seems to be the writing on the wall. Eh. Like naalala mo nung event, I said
Mm-hmm.
it seems like data science is a third industrial revolution tech. And it's because it's very manual. Malay mo, the argument can be made for software engineering for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you've crossed over, when it's less about manual labor, it's more about, yeah, design. You literally just talk to the data reconfigures. Syempre, sci-fi pa rin yun. But in some ways, that's where Gen AI is bringing us, no? And then you also have the minutia, no? I'm just trying to qualify. Na I can already see a lot of the low-level analytical tasks. Kunyari,
Mm.
analyzing a spreadsheet, GPT-4 can do that already, no? You can ask GPT-4 for a preliminary regression model, no? So a lot of the stuff that people actually love doing, which is highly manual, I can see AI can do already. So in
Yeah.
many ways, it's like the issue between photography and art.
The smartphone stuff.
Oh, and then now eto na, yung mga image gen. Ang
Mm.
ang
Ah,
bilis.
okay, okay.
Gets
Get.
mo? So it's analogous na the data science stuff, no? So for me, it meant divorcing na talaga na um we need to see where AI can really augment. Kaya I'm very particular
True.
about kaya ba talaga? Kung hindi, then what might happen later is you end up spending more effort policing the AI than actually just getting things done, no? Pero I feel medyo ano pa rin, it's still sort of balanced. Kasi most people who would know how to do it anyway will just drop the AI or parang ginawa ninyo, just ignore
Mm.
and then get it done and then later the AI can come back and learn. I feel that that process is also underway on data science and analytics. Eh. And here's another thought, no? Just para you know how to react to this.
Yeah.
Nung nauso yung term na data scientist, that's 2012. That's 10 years ago, more, no?
Mm.
Uh
And it
and
was a bit controversial on the term scientist,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Just like the word engineer is controversial, no? Pero
Correct.
pero scientist ang bigat eh. Parang okay, how many experiments do you really do? I mean, to be fair, a lot of them do real scientific stuff. Pero most of the data science jobs out there are like data cleaning. Kaya nauso ngayon
Pipelining.
yung data engineer. I think that's a more legitimate outcome, which is a subset
Uh-huh.
siguro of software engineer. Pero sige, I'm digressing. Going back, I had a weird feeling. Nung simula, it made sense. People got excited about it. School started teaching
Mm.
it. Pero here we are, more than 10 years later. How come it's not mainstream? No, it's still just a few companies who have reached that level of sophistication. Unlike something that's more, I would say more mainstream is web apps, diba?
Mhm.
Websites. Normal na yan. And even the development process for like a typical website,
Mm.
it doesn't need to be painful. Meron ng mga web builders, mga Squarespace, mga ganyan for simple things. And then you get into web development for more serious, complicated stuff. I didn't see the same thing happen for data science. It's still highly manual,
Even
highly
if nandun na lahat yung mga libraries, no, that makes it easier, still a
act
bit of
oh,
mm,
marami pa rin. Actually, ang nangyari, even the libraries, no. Let's just use Python as a specific.
mm,
Na nung na-develop yung Pandas,
pandas.
which is the data analysis library. A lot of it was driven by people don't want to use SQL. Can I just say stay in Python? So I understand that. Sige, fine. You don't want to skip to, you don't want you want one place to do everything. And then you get the roadblock later na paano kung hindi magkasya sa Python memory yung data? 'Di ba? Balik ka rin sa database para magganon din. So I felt na that didn't move, and even up to now it still hasn't moved. Kaya I appreciate you mentioned Air Ops. Nakausap ko si Zoe eh. She was
Mm.
an interviewee couple of
Oh, nice, nice.
and she did mention na, you guys collaborated. Siya yung nag-mention ng Air Ops. First time ko nakita when she described. Sabi ko, holy, this is great, no? And I agree, it's gonna be workflow driven. So yung culture talaga different. And I saw that in
Mm.
the Gen AI meetup, just to finish the thought.
Mm.
Very little overlap. Kasi I frequent mga events eh. There are the usual suspects, I would say, who attend mga data events, no? Mga Data Science Philippines, AAP, mga ganyan,
Mm.
our user group. Merong type talaga na nandyan. And then you
Mm.
have the Gen AI group. I see very little overlap. And the questions that people ask, very different. We don't even have the usual, oh, which is better, R or Python? Who cares? No one cares about that in our we don't get the is it LangChain or Llama index, doesn't matter, no? Bahala ka kung whatever gets the job done. O baka early days pa lang. Pero I don't see it eh. Hindi katulad dun sa ano. So anyway, long story short, I felt na it's a totally different space, and I felt that at least for me, I really needed to step back from that parang space para
Mm.
ma-clear din yung ulo ko na ano ba yung bago.
Makes sense.
'Di ba? That's my thought, no.
Mm.
Anyway, sorry for the lengthy
Yeah, no worries.
lengthy
I think
explanation.
I like those kinds of mga fun din ba? Mga angles on how we view things.
Hmm.
Kasi it's gonna make us parang like not biased towards at least one. Like we have to be thinking like why is this even ganyan yung setup sa previous natin with the data science, and why is this now the setup for Gen AI stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Well, we are now finally at the hour as we are predicting, and
Yeah.
we barely scratched the surface. So certainly we need to save some for next episode. Pero maybe back to you, Raven, no, as given your journey so far, what are you looking forward to? Not just for community, for development,
Mm.
whatever, no? Ikaw, what are you personally excited about in this? I'm sure wala pa tayo sa
Mm.
peak. We're still just about to take off, no? Gen AI.
I agree.
Ano
I
mga
agree.
what are you forecasting, or what are you looking forward to?
Ako, what I really am looking forward into is that people will get more and more parang uh, I don't know if this is a correct term, pero parang I would say Gen AI native, right? So what I mean is that they will see it for all the use cases that it can really do, not just a parang generate text, give me this one. Kasi right now nakikita ko ba din yun, like from my family members, from other my friends that are not really in the tech industry, you still find it that parang generate lang yan, give me. But what I'm excited to is that for all this rise of more accessible generative AI tools for them, and of course the pressure also from the industry na, oh, if you're not trying to augment yourself with AI, then maybe baka need ka na mag-upskill more, di ba? So I would say there's going to be a push talaga that there somewhere or another they will have to learn some form of AI, generative AI tools. So that's what I'm excited about. Like it's kind of like becoming now a core part of the industry, not industry, the like in all kinds of industry, I would say. So I'm excited for that because now it gives way for all people across all different na mga industries to think about AI. Like right now kasi, di ba, like most people na nagtitik ng AI are just the builders. Or most people na think ng AI is like, oh, kailangan na namin to for our work, so maybe we have to think about it. But if we're gonna make the AI as accessible as parang pen and paper writing dati, then I'm believing that there's gonna rise something out there na perhaps something that we haven't thought of before ba as the builders of this tech, that that perspective is galing dun sa actually some masses, the en mass of like how they are doing it actually. So that's what I'm excited about, like the accessibility for all for these kinds of tools. So
Yeah.
kaya so I'm just gonna end on this note na this is also the reason why I tried to no, I thought actually multiple workshops before dito lang sa amin sa local for Jinay, and I'm focusing on the people that's not really in the tech industry, and then showing them that they can really use it, like yung sa manager namin from the cafe, and then sa fast food chain, and they were like amazed. And then it was becoming like a parang daily thing to them, and then now there's a lot of stuff that they're doing that and I didn't even thought them to do. So parang that kind of interaction ba, that's what I'm excited to see about, like, oh gosh, at 10 years 5 years from now, like people are very native towards using these tools na it's parang like second nature to us already. So now we're moving to more parang solving other more complex problems.
Tama. I mean, yeah, the word that I love is democratization. Talagang access
Agreed.
is everywhere eh. And yun
Mhm.
nga eh, parang, kaya nga I made the point to mention na when people focus too much on, kunyari, hallucinations or, di ba? Yun yung, lumalabas pa yun eh. Hallucinate. Certainly, yes, it can because that's the nature
Wala nung
of the
temperature nila ng
algorithm. Oh, di ba? But that means you're not doing it properly kung yan ang problem mo pa rin. And then the prompt engineering, actually maybe the term nga prompt engineering is wrong eh. Kasi
Mm,
parang data scientist lang yan. It loaded up too many expectations. But it's essentially giving instructions, no?
correct.
Instructions to, it's like a prototypal coding, no? But without making it too rigid. And I feel
Mhm.
that's the secret eh. I think, of course, there will be more advanced technologies in the future.
True.
Pero now we were suddenly taught na technology doesn't need to be painful for you to use it. I think
Agreed.
that's beautiful. Sabi ko, and yun din, ayun, babalikan ko lang yung the divorce.
Mm.
That's
Go.
also something that's still notoriously true about data science and analytics. For people
Mm.
who are getting into it, it's very hard. A lot of them struggle. And even companies, they really struggle with it. The fact na maraming mga non-coders who are now forced to code. Kaya nga I felt na ba't hindi na uso yung no-code, low-code revolution dati or self-service analytics. And then suddenly this Gen AI came about. That's the perfect low-code, no-code thing. And if you
Yeah.
wanted to get to code, it can help kahit papaano bridge the gap.
Mm.
Pero just don't expect, it will write a full application. Nothing still beats learning how, things really work. Pero as a person making a transition, baka it's
Mhm.
easier for them, 'di ba?
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay, sige. So, I'm very happy with this chat, Raven. I'm looking forward to the next one. But in the meantime, I want to thank you for, sharing your insight, your time with us. And yeah, looking forward to hearing more about you and your fantastic work. And I'll certainly see you in the next Gen AI event.
Yeah. Let's take a screenshot.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah. I'll take one. One, two, three. Smile. All right. Thank you so much, Doc, for the productive chika chika.
Sige. Thanks, Raven.